Fridge just turned on. Welcome back to Coffeehouse Convos, my weekly show where I talk about automotive news, events, and my opinions. This week is a really exciting one for me. We're talking about Rivian and their newly announced Rivian R2 and R3 and R3X. So this was a really exciting announcement, especially the R3, because that was not expected. The R2 was expected. The R3 was a surprise. So you probably know Rivian from the Rivian R1T, the truck, and the R1S, which is the SUV. Those are both pretty large electric SUVs with the really distinguished front grille with how the lights are and the oval lights. So you've probably seen those around. They're really cool. I see them everywhere in Colorado. And I don't really hear any complaints about things like the battery or just some common EV complaints that you might hear about Teslas. Everything like the fit and finish of the Rivian, I've never heard any complaints about. So Rivian just announced the R2 and R3. These are both going to be smaller vehicles compared to the R1S and the R1T. They'll be 4-door, and in the instance of the R3, it'll be 5-door, but we'll get into that later. So it'll be 5-passenger. The R3 might be 4-passenger, but they're smaller vehicles. So Rivian is an EV manufacturer with the goal of supplying the world with clean vehicles, because they are electric, no emissions during the whole life of the vehicle. That's a huge thing. I've talked about in the last couple of videos about EVs and what goes into building EVs in the first place, as far as resources and minerals and all the materials. But Rivian, their goal is to make clean vehicles, and also Rivian goes all out with their camping adventure theme, and I think that is awesome. Like you might know the R1T has the pass-through storage area, kind of like behind the cab, between the cab and the bed. Put a picture on the screen. And then the R1S has the Bluetooth speaker in the center console, and they both have the self-leveling feature. So let's say you're at a campground, you have a rooftop tent, it self-levels so that your tent is completely level. That is sick. All right, let's get into the new R2. They just announced this, and they had their press conference a couple days ago. The R2 is similarly shaped to the R1S. It's that boxier SUV design, but the R1S is a 3-row SUV, fits like 7 or 8 people. The R2 is 15 inches shorter, 7 inches narrower, and 10 inches less tall. So it is much shorter, and it's also just a 5-seater, so it's just 2 rows, 4-door SUV. It'll come with a 1-motor, a 2-motor, and a 3-motor configuration. The 1-motor is obviously 2-wheel drive. It'll be rear-wheel drive. The 2-motor and the 3-motor are both all-wheel drive. The 3-motor is 2 motors power each of the rear wheels, and 1 motor powers the front 2 wheels. So that'll go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. But the single-motor 2-wheel drive version, that's going to be the entry level, and that will start under $50,000. I think they're shooting for like a $45,000 range. And that's really cool for an EV manufacturer startup like Rivian to start coming out with these less expensive models that will appeal to more people. All of these configurations, single, double, and tri-motor, they are hoping to achieve over 300 miles per charge on every one of those configurations. That's a pretty good goal, especially with the tri-motor performance version. Having 300 miles for that is going to be tricky, but we'll see if they can do it. And the R2 sticks with that camping adventure theme as all the other Rivians by having 10 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty good, better than all the other vehicles in its category. The R2 won't be as optimized for off-roading. It'll be probably more suitable for city streets and paved roads, but it will be able to perform off-road with that all-wheel drive setup. And further with the camping theme, every seat folds down flat, including the driver and the passenger seat. So you'll be able to fold all the seats flat, and this is the same with the R3. You'll be able to fold all the seats flat and have some sort of mattress for car camping. I think that's a really awesome thing. I wish the Jeep had the front, at least the passenger seat, I wish that could fold flat, because that would make for a lot better storage and the ability to have like some sort of fold out bed in the Jeep. But anyway, back to the Rivians. So the R2 will come out next year, and like I said, should start under $50,000. That's good news, but the R3 is what I'm more excited about, because this was unexpected. They weren't leading up to this at all. It was a complete surprise. And the R3 looks like it's out of a 90s retro futuristic book, you know what I mean? Magazine or something like that. Because it's a hatchback. We haven't seen hatchbacks since like the Volkswagen Rabbit back a long time ago. So it's a 5-door hatchback. It's going to share the same platform as the R2, so it'll be similar dimensions. And it will have the same configurations. You can get it in a single, a dual, or a tri-motor performance model, which will be the R3X. It's gonna look sick. I'll put a picture up. Now they're estimating for the R3 single motor rear wheel drive version will start around $37,000. That's a really good price, under $40,000. Really good, especially for new cars today and especially for EVs. I love what Rivian did with the R3. I think it's different, it's out of the box, it's nothing like any other manufacturer is doing. Kia is doing things similar to that with their EVs. Those are definitely out of the box. But I just love how the Rivian looks. To me, it looks like a rally car or something like that. I could just see it going 80 down the desert with a giant dust cloud behind it. That will be the R3X, because that's the performance model. It'll be 0 to 60 in 3 seconds or something like that. Crazy, crazy stuff. And it's cool seeing Rivian go smaller. They started with the truck and the SUV, and now they're going even smaller, more affordable, which is what I see a lot of manufacturers doing. We were in this SUV, everybody needs a big SUV phase, and now every manufacturer has like a crossover, and more people are getting crossovers. So it's an interesting thing that's happening, and Rivian with their R3, I think they're gonna win this category of like crossovers that are also capable off-road. Now I also love Rivian's entire brand, which is just camping, off-roading, going on adventures, and they keep with this theme through all their vehicles. And it's not even the capability like the all-wheel drive, but it's all the little things that they add in there, like the extra storage inside, or the ability to fold the seats flat so you can put a bed inside, or the self-leveling feature for a rooftop tent. They're really hidden on this niche, and I think that's a really smart thing to do, especially for a startup like this. Also, Rivian is coming out with its own rooftop tent called the Treehouse. I'll put a picture up there. You can see how nice that looks. It's definitely not gonna be cheap. I mean, it looks like something that'll be at least $5,000. But it looks really spacious. It looks like it has glass on it maybe, but it's gonna be a hard shell. It'll look really sick on the Rivians. They might do like a limited edition R3X that has all the overlanding gear, which includes that treehouse. That would be really cool. I could see them doing that, but it will also probably be at least 50 grand. And then I just love how every Rivian looks in general. You know how whenever manufacturers come out with their concept vehicles, it looks like how it should. You know, the wheels are flush with the fenders. That's the biggest thing. And then whenever the actual production model comes out, the wheels are inset to the body, so it looks silly. That's like basically every car that comes out, the wheels are really far inset from the fender. Rivian's different. Every single Rivian, the wheels are basically flush with the fender, and it just makes the vehicle look 10 times better. The R3 looks amazing, and part of that is because of how well the wheels fit. They fill the gap, and it's flush with the fender. Why isn't every car manufacturer doing that? I have no idea. Now, I've talked a lot in the past couple episodes about manufacturers should stop switching over to EVs. They should focus more on their hybrid technologies, and I think that's true. They should, but I'm not talking about these EV startups or the brands that are only EV, like Tesla and Rivian. I'm talking about manufacturers that have been perfecting their engines for the last 100 years, now switching over to EVs, and it's a new thing for them. I don't think they should do that. I think they should stick with hybrid system. And I also think that the manufacturers that are focusing only on EVs, like Tesla and Rivian, they are gonna perform better because they're only focusing on their EV technology. So Rivian, I think they're doing a great job. I think all their vehicles look amazing. And I haven't heard a lot of complaints about Rivian. I haven't looked, so that might be why, but you hear a lot about Tesla's panel gaps and fit and finish isn't great, and then just general problems that people encounter. I haven't heard much of that about Rivian. I've heard good things. I see them everywhere here in Colorado, and snow doesn't slow them down, and the trails don't slow them down. I'm excited for the future of Rivian. And if Rivian starts going in this direction of like their 5-door hatchback model, I hope that other manufacturers will follow them, make smaller vehicles, more compact vehicles, capable vehicles, and things that are a little bit out of the box. So I kind of mixed my opinions in with that news category about Rivian, but as for the events, the Denver Auto Show is coming to Denver in early April. So I think April 3rd, April 4th. April 4th to April 7th. The Denver Auto Show will be at the Denver Convention Center, and it will show all the new cars, the main manufacturers that you probably expect to be at auto shows. If you've been to like a city auto show, it'll probably be very similar to that. I'm not gonna go to it, but I've been to the St. Louis Auto Show several times. It's always a good time, especially the drifting competitions, always fun. But that's gonna be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. I released a 3-part road trip series that I did with my girlfriend. We went to Moab, Utah, check out the national parks and just the town of Moab, and we camped the whole time. So check those videos out. They're good ones. Appreciate you watching. Join me next time on Coffeehouse Convos. Thanks. Peace.